Hello, everyone. Welcome to Healing Wednesday in the Circle of 12. I'm Lee Carroll.
And I'm Monica Morani.
Well, indeed, we are back yet again, every Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, October 12. We come here every Wednesday of the year. We come together with special guest questions and answers. We have discussions, meditations, and of course, channeling.
So I want to talk about the portal, your membership portal. How amazing is it? I mean, our team has worked for such a long time on making it functional, beautiful, elegant, and only a few clicks away is everything you could ever need. There's also an index in there because we have a growing library of all the episodes that we're doing. There's special music from certain shows, special shows just for members, and there's an area for prayer requests and testimonies now for the Miracle Moments section, and there's so much more.
We often review the chat logs for this show, and I've said that before, but we are doing it more. We really, truly enjoy seeing what you've said and how much you're enjoying the show. We also see that sometimes there are issues with no sound, refreshing, and many of the same questions are popping up all the time. Now, sometimes it's our wonderful new members just getting used to the interface, and other times it's just the internet that day. If it's on our end, we'll always tell you, and the chat people will tell you. We're in communication with them even as we do the show, and we monitor the stream. So I'll let you know that. However, are you aware that 15 minutes before we start this program, we give you sound and video to test all this? So if you want to, you can come in early and test these things. Talk to our chat people if you're having trouble then, and then you won't miss any of the show if you have problems. And remember, all these programs, if you do have problems, are perfect replays. They have forever. They're perfect as forever as long as you remember.
And in your membership portal, you can submit a question to us, and it's very easy to do, and here's the guidelines. Ask a question that you think others may be interested in as well. So that really means no personal questions such as, what do I do about my mother-in-law? Because Lee and I, we're not therapists. We can just give you the information we have gleaned through Kryon's wisdom and teachings and make those questions concise and short. So here's a question from John. John is in Florida. And John is saying, I came across what I feel is an ancient reference to the cave of creation that Kryon refers to. It's in the Emerald Tablet by Thoth, or Thoth, the Atlantean, and the work repeatedly mentions the halls of Amenti, which is located within the earth. The description sounds very similar to what Kryon references. Any insight is most welcome.
John, I really like this kind of question since it gives me the ability to expand on a premise that Kryon has given that I teach, and we've had it for many, many years. Now, I don't have any knowledge of the information that you presented today, but I have an answer anyway for you. Kryon has told us that the most profound truths about our past live on Earth, and they're in a cave. How about that? And they have to do with our Akash, and you pegged it. It's called the Cave of Creation. Now, this cave of creation, he said, is real. It is multidimensional, and it won't be found because of that. But it's real. It exists, and it's not a metaphor. It's a real place that belongs to us, and it's within the planet. Sounds familiar? Yep, just like you said. Now, Kryon says when we leave the earth in passing, when we die, we go to this cave of creation first and deposit our, quote, crystal. Intends a metaphor containing the energy of this life combined with all the other lives we have lived. Kryon says that crystal is from our DNA. And then when we return, we pick it up again. We go to the cave first. I'm sure it's all a metaphor, but the cave is real. And that then is put back into our DNA, and we continue. So this is a very simple explanation of how our past lives are also placed into our biology. So here's your answer, and here's the one I love to talk about. If this whole idea of a cave within the earth containing our Akash is core truth, if it's the way things work, then culture after culture will have something that sounds a lot like it. Sometimes it'll be contained in the mythology of the culture, other times in the religion. We've seen this over and over. But it'll seem very much like another culture as well, just like what you've been asking, John. The reason is simple. I think the information is in everybody's Akash. And so it gets subconsciously written into many stories, movies, religions. And as I said, it's also all through our mythology. I often referred to Joseph Campbell's work, and in his TV series, and I think it was the 60s or 70s, and his books, The Power of Myth, this is revealed quite a bit, that the same basic story is contained in many cultures that never met each other. They had nothing to do with each other because they were too far apart in history. Joseph Campbell would tell you that it's in every human's consciousness or our nature. We continue that idea and say it's written into our code, our DNA, those truths. So the answer is yes. I really believe that this information you have about the halls of Amenti is indeed the same thing and represents core truth that is represented in so many cultures. I love this. In the cartoon series, The Last Airbender, which some of you have seen, the boy avatar called Aang makes a trip to a very large cave where he meets his ancestors who are him. Now, when I saw that, I knew exactly where the writers got the whole thing. It was directly from their own Akash. Here it is again. What a deal. So watch for this in many cultures and religions. I think there are some very basic core truths that survive in our consciousness.
So our next question comes from Joanna. Joanna is in the Yukon Territory in Canada, and Joanna is asking, can you tell me about remembering who I was before I came to Earth? I remember a whole bunch of things, and some of them make me very sad, and some of them even make me angry. Why is this if everything over there is perfect love?
Joanna, from the Yukon, Kryon tells us that what we remember is not from over there. I know you're asking about the potential remembrance of your soul and the love that's there, but what I would like to tell you is that you're dealing with a multidimensional state, and yes, it's perfect love over there, since you're part of the creative source. But these sad things that you're talking about and the things that make you angry come directly from what we have in our biological human DNA. We receive all kinds of energetic remembrances that are not linear. In other words, they don't have a date or an address for any of them. That makes it hard. It mixes up where they're coming from. Your remembrances can be from almost anywhere, but they probably are not that happy, since most of us went through a lot of very sorrowful stuff before we got here this time. Now, some of that sorrowful stuff seems like it's been biased in us who are here today, and that's called karma, or Akashic influence. And it truly is a bias. We remember the bad things often first. Part of the teaching from Kryon from 1989 tells us that this no longer belongs to us, and that we can actually drop it with intent and move on to why we came here this time. So if you're getting that, that means we can drop the karma. That's a big one. But that came in the first book of Kryon, written in 93, but channeled very, very early. That's a great empowering message, and many of our Healing Wednesday guests have processes and stories that show how we can do that. Kryon says it can be done with intent. They have processes for it, and this is the reason for this show, so that we can have that kind of exposure. So again, you're not experiencing remembrances from your soul. You're remembering from your human experiences, or that before you got here. Personally, I'd love to get beyond the past, beyond any karma that's in there. Get healthy. Stop having ugly energies visit us unexpectedly. We can do this, and Kryon leads the way in the Circle of 12, helping us to see who we really are. Thank you. That was a great question.
And that was a great answer. So now we're going to take one more question, and this is Jan. Jan is in Wisconsin in the US. Jan is saying, Kryon says we have a 36-year window from 2012. What happens after that?
Jan, there are many who won't understand the question, but obviously you've been paying attention to the teaching about the precession of the equinoxes. So in order to make sense of this answer, let me just review a little bit about what a 36-year window is all about. And it's not a window from 2012. Let me explain, because this can get complicated, and I don't want it to be. The precession of the equinoxes is a once in 25,000 year event, and it's an Earth alignment with our Milky Way galaxy due to a wobble of the Earth. So it's astronomical. It's also metaphysical, and I'll tell about that in just a moment. To make it simpler, the precession is the name. The precession is the start and the stop point of that wobble, and it affects how we see the stars from our standpoint looking into the sky. That's oversimplifying it, but it's a significant metaphysical date as well. It centers around 2012. So 2012 is actually the center of it. That's why that date, by the way, is important. Many indigenous intuitively felt that this time, this center of that precession, would mean an opportunity for our planet to either destroy itself or save itself. So interesting to note that although Christianity never told us anything about any alignment and doesn't actually believe in any of that, the Armageddon, the one that didn't happen, coincided with the precession dates within just a few years. So according to astronomy, this precession is a 36-year event. It started in 94, ends in 2030. Remember, I've said that before, not on this program, but when we discussed it, starts in 94, ends in 2030. 2012 was the center. That's the 36-year window. Now, those dates are from the astronomy calculations, and there's a lot of math, but also it coordinates with the prophesied energy and the indigenous and others, and of course what Kryon has to say. So let's give a name to those 36-year window, those 36 years in the window. I'm going to call it the Great Shift. Now, even that is not a Kryon name. So here comes the answer to Jan's question. Well, that took a while, didn't it? Within these 36 years, called the shift, there's a very special energy of change. We've already seen a great deal of it. More is coming. You might say it's a window of energy that allows for a greater energy of completion and creation and change and allowance than any other time on the planet. So, what happens after 2030? Jan asks. Nothing horrible. Please, don't see it as a doom date. It's just not as great a time to harvest the seeds of light as right now is. Just pretend you're a farmer and you want to plant the seeds now since the weather may change. And this is the best time. It really is as simple as that. I know that's a long way around to fully answer Jan's question, but I always desire to be complete in my answers and allow for those who may not have heard everything.
I think that was a very complete answer, Lee. And as you were describing it, I was remembering how even in astrology, we have a full moon, we have a new moon. It's all about cycles.
Yeah.
I think that's becoming more obvious that we are moving through cycles. And I love the thread of questions actually now that we're reviewing them, because someone's remembering off-planet experiences, they were very sad and sometimes angry. Mm-hmm. And we've been through this, according to Kryon, many times on other planets. And there is such joy and celebration from everyone in the galaxy that has moved past this point.
And I know I tried to cover a lot just in that 36-year window information, and I stumble a little bit only because I know there's so much more, and I hope I'm simplifying it. But the answer truly is we are in a very special time right now, and it happens to coincide with not only the astronomy, but also with the indigenous have been said that, and it is that 36-year window.
So
we're right in it.
What advice would you give to people how to take advantage of this potent energy?
Listen. There are changes in your life that can be accomplished now. Don't put things off, because now is the time for the shift and change. Just the fact that you're watching this program is, to me, an indication that you care a little bit about the things that are happening in your life and on the planet. And I think a lot of people are feeling this quickening, that now is the time to do a lot of the things. And when I say a lot of the things, I mean taking care of yourself. Giving allowance and intent for things that you've always wanted to do. Now is the time. It's really a reboot, I think.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that will help guide us and navigate through this potent change is enhancing our intuition. That's the key.
Yeah, paying attention to our intuition, and that enhances it. Just getting used to what it feels like.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, let's move into a meditation, and then we can hear a channel from Kryon, get some more good, juicy information, or even sometimes if it's not juicy information, it's always filled with such deep, profound love. And so I invite you to close your eyes and allow this moment to connect with yourself. Connect in a deep way where you're really just tuning in without any outside stimulation. And I want to ask some questions. How do you feel in this moment? What is going on for you in your life? What are the amazing good things that you have to be grateful for in your life? What are some of the things that you may be a little uncertain about or anxious about or have doubts, fears and worries about? Is it possible that you can place those fears, worries and doubts into a little package and just give them to your higher self and ask your higher self to take care of it for you? You can always pick them up if you want when you come out of the channel, but for now, let's allow our higher self to hold that package of any fears, worries and doubts we may have, and allow that to just completely go outside of where we are in this moment. And now as we continue focusing internally, what is it that brings you joy in your life? What brings you happiness? What are the things that make you smile and laugh? And perhaps I'd like to ask, how many times a day do you go to those things that make you laugh or bring you joy? And perhaps in your answer, you may decide you need to spend a little more time in your day finding that joy and that moment of laughter. And as you are introspectively peeking in, what other things are there that come to the surface for you? And what are the ways that you can deal with them? That too is an answer that can come to you. And so all of these questions are simply to highlight that the answers are not outside. You can receive guidance from outside, but the true knowledge and answers are going to come from your own higher self, your own intuition. And follow that thread. And we now extend that thread to continue into the beautiful, loving messages from Kryon.
Greetings, dear ones. I am Kryon of Magnetic Service. I would like you to continue that feeling just presented to you. Those who have followed the work of Kryon know that the channels that I give you are all given in love. We don't give you advice and then tell you you have to do something. We love you enough sometimes to beg you to do it. But there's no have-tos. But the advice that I would give today is different, perhaps, than what I've said in many weeks. It has a lot to do with the meditation you just heard. I'm going to call this the Love Channel, where I just sit and love you, where we have a talk, you and I. What'd you come here for? What's going on? If you could just talk to me, I'd like to hear it. And when you're done, I'll give you some advice. If I could give you a list of things that would help you right now, I would say the first one is to throw away everything you know. Everything you think you know about yourself, everything you learned, and understand that you can wipe away the slate. And to those who are invested spiritually, you've learned a lot of things from a lot of people. And those things often presented to you are the best those people had, those leaders had, for an older energy, where truth and love and compassion and kindness didn't rule the energy as it's starting to now. That's one. It's called a reboot to many, a technical current term. Number two, get ready to become renewed, refreshed, and go to work, you'd say, on yourself spiritually in an entirely different way than you ever have before. In order to do that, there will be many who will give you this advice, and I'm going to give it to you as number three. Stop everything you're doing and relax. Relaxation is going to be the key to so many intuitive flashes that you're going to have. Again, I'll tell you something I've said before, that some of the greatest inventions on this planet by very famous inventors whose names you know have all come when the inventors were not thinking about it. So they'd be in their workshop puzzling over a question, an issue, a how-to, what if, what's the solution? And then they go home. And then they're reading a book or they're at dinner, and in comes the solution. What did that take? It took them to relax and be for a moment out of the puzzle themselves, removed from everything, almost in a daily renewal cycle, eating a meal, having some sleep, waking up with an answer they did not have before. This is the way all of consciousness works. There's a reason, dear ones, why you have to sleep. Now, biologically, there's one reason. Metaphysically, there's another. Psychologists will debate what happens and why when you sleep. Metaphysically, it's all allied to many things a psychologist may not agree with. It goes into who you are, what you've experienced in past lives, what you're experiencing now, the subconscious programs and patterns. They all surface. Some have asked, well, if that's the case, sleep is often not the answer. You're right. Enter meditation. And that's why a meditator does what they do instead of counting on sleep as the refresher. And what is meditation? If you'll ask those who teach it or who do it often, and there are many who do and some who never need to, they will tell you it's a rest time. It's a time where things occur to you where they wouldn't during the day when you're at work or around the house, or doing the things that you need to do simply to survive. Have you ever heard somebody say, well, I was cleaning the house and all these things came to me, the syllabus of my next teaching, and all I was doing was washing a window? And you'd say, well, how does that work? It works in the same way. So that number 3, which is to relax, can be anything. But I'll tell you what happens when you relax. Whether you call it meditation or you decide to sit there, drop into your heart when it's quiet around you. Outside is wonderful in case you can and there's no sounds to distract you. If not, inside is fine. There's no rule on how to relax except to find that best place and time for you so that you're not distracted and you can go to this super place, if you want to call it. When they say drop into your heart, this actually means you find an energy that flows within you that's loving and peaceful and safe. I created the Circle of 12 for that. Some of you recognize it. How many of you realize that when you cross the bridge, that's what we're doing? You relax. Now in the Circle of 12, there's also teaching. There are those you meet. There are tables and chairs and theaters and all these things that we presented to you. But right now, I am telling you that these things that I am giving you are critical and easy, truly. It's not relearning any kind of a protocol. It's not having to start over and have to then go through some things that are difficult or to memorize. It's just the opposite. Try to wipe out those things that would irritate you or you think you have to do, and realize that none of that is important. Not really. Not really. And understand that there is a reset going on in your life, if you wish. How many of you have felt this intuitively? Something is happening to you now in these years that you didn't expect, that actually you could define as a reset, a paradigm shift, a new you. Old soul, that's why you came. Old soul, if you are feeling that, that's what I'm talking about. There are so many who start to feel those things and worry about them. That is very human. The true answer for you to intuit what is next for you is to relax in the arms of Spirit and don't plan anything. Don't plan anything. Relax and know you are part of a grander love plan. Relax in that things will be shown to you in the way they should be. Quickly, slowly, it doesn't matter. All of these things, I tell you, so that you will understand relaxation is the key to knowing what the next step is. What if you, when you're relaxing, find the solution to an invention? And the invention is you. Going to that next level or beyond, as we have said before, and what that might feel like. Or, what if it's a relaxation that says, not yet. So just relax until we get there, until the timing is right. And don't fear. And don't worry. And in the process, feel that love as a healing love, so that nothing will interrupt the next step. I give this love channel to you. It's simple, isn't it? It really truly is. I think that you reinventing yourself is as easy as dropping into your heart and saying, everything I learned, I am now ready to put away and see instead a greater love and a beauty I have not experienced yet. I don't know what it is, but I'm okay not to know what it is. And just sit and feel the love of God. Can you do that? Oh, it's so beautiful, isn't it? And so it is.